Factsverse presents Surprising Things Men Found Attractive 50 Years Ago. Things are a lot different today than they were a half-century ago. Technology, social standards, fashion, just about everything has changed over the past 50 years. Even the things that men find attractive about women have changed. And we've got some surprising things that men used to find attractive back 50 years ago. Before we get into our list, help us spread the word about Facts First by clicking that like button. Also be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future videos. Lighter skin. In the 1960s, racism was a serious problem. Many men, even men in the African-American community, preferred women with lighter complexions, and because of this, many ladies would bleach their skin to lighten it. As the years went on, women began embracing their natural skin color regardless of how dark they were, which is a good thing because, come on ladies, you are gorgeous no matter what color you are. Super skinny figures. For a while, women embraced their curvy figures. Voluptuous women like Marilyn Monroe were icons back then. But then fashion model Twiggy came around, and she became a role model for women everywhere. Men jumped on the bandwagon too. The thinner the woman, the more attractive most men found her to be. Flat chests. Today, women will pay hundreds, possibly thousands of dollars on breast implants to enhance their appearance. Well, that wasn't the case 50 years ago. Since being rail thin was in, women also needed flat chests. Those who were curvy weren't as happy with their appearance. Boy, have times changed. Flat butts. Today, women just like breast implants are also getting butt implants. Women today, they want that Kardashian butt, round and plump. 50 years ago, though, a big round butt would send women running to Weight Watchers. Men loved women with boyish figures back then. Women were so desperate to have flat butts, they would use a special rolling pin that they were sure would flatten their tuchus. It didn't work, but they tried it anyway. They were desperate. Exposed legs. When poodle skirts went out, mini skirts came in. Men loved women with exposed legs, and the shorter the skirt, the better. When short skirts became popular, high-platform boots did as well. The end of the poodle skirt created a whole new style, and men couldn't get enough of it. Unisex clothing. In the late 60s, more and more designers were creating unisex clothing as androgyny was fashionable. It wasn't uncommon for stylish men and women to go out dressed similarly or even exactly the same. Today, this is something you rarely see. The Lolita Look. Women 50 years ago went out of their way to look as young as possible. They styled their hair and dressed so that they could look like they were teenagers, and that was something that men actually loved. Going braless. When women began to rebel against gender norms, many burned their bras. Not only was this in political protest, but it also started a major fashion trend that the guys loved too. I mean, really, what guy didn't like a woman in a sheer dress without a bra, right, fellas? Long, straight hair. Half a century ago, long, straight hair was in style. Women were so desperate to make their hair pin straight that they ironed their hair. Yeah, it caused the hair to break and be damaged, of course, but for women back then, apparently it was worth it. Today, long, straight hair is back in style, but now we have hair appliances and products to straighten the hair safely. Subservience. Half a century ago, women were expected to stay home and take care of their homes and their husbands. That was something that men didn't have a problem with back then. It was legal for a bank to deny an unmarried woman a credit card back then too, even if she had her own income. Wow! Married women had to have a husband to co-sign for a credit card. Sobriety. Back in the late 60s, when a woman drank, it was considered unfeminine. It wasn't just social expectations that kept women from drinking. There were also public service announcements in the mainstream media warning women not to drink. They didn't care about the men drinking. They didn't have PSAs about that, but they did for the ladies. Men didn't like drunk women because they were considered to be unladylike. Smoking. 50 years ago, we didn't know the dangers of smoking, at least not as much as we do now. When a man saw a woman smoking a long cigarette, they looked at them as being glamorous and sophisticated, and that's why you see so many cigarettes in old movies. Unemployment. Men wanted their women to be unemployed in the late 60s. While many women were entering the workforce, men preferred their women to be unemployed so that they could focus all of their attention on them. Leg makeup. During World War II, there was a shortage of nylons, so women drew on the stocking seams so that it looked like their legs weren't bare. In the late 60s, women used leg makeup to cover up flaws thanks to rising hemlines. Bruises, scars, and other imperfections were often covered up with makeup. Athletic skills. Men found athletic women in the 60s very attractive. It wasn't so that they could see them play, it was actually so that the women could keep their rail-thin boyish figures. Back then, ladies couldn't appear on the cover of Sports Illustrated, but that didn't stop men from loving an athletic woman. Did any of these things surprise you? What other things did we miss? What did men find attractive about women 50 years ago? Tell us in the comments, and subscribe for more.